Hello to our friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I have another orc mode workout for you guys, and yes, I'm still deloading my lower body. Like I said, because I feel like I pushed so hard with all of it, I need the recovery. I will be deloading my squats the rest of this week, so it's not going to be just 1 week. It's going to have been Friday and Saturday of last week, and then all of this week. And then we'll ease back into the heavy squatting with the back off work. But yeah, I mean, my legs are starting to feel a lot better. Oh my right hip and groin is feeling so much better. Like I actually benched today, pain-free. Like that's how serious some of that was getting. It was actually getting painful to lay down and get up off the bench. Just digging my legs in and everything. It was putting stress on my groin, hip, everything. It's starting to get a lot better. Like I needed this so much. And look, it took me 5 months to need it of doing this style of training, and I didn't even deload going into this training. I was doing concurrent periodization 4 days a week going into the daily maxes and all of that, right? Bulgarian light, as some people call it, what I'm now calling orc mode. So people are probably wondering, who haven't been following, what's up with that. Oh, I decided to give it something cooler because all the Olympic lifters get upset when we call it Bulgarian training or Bulgarian light. So fine. They want to cry about it. I don't think Bulgarian is that cool of a name anyways. I think orc mode is way better. And since, you know, you're doing big power lifts instead of Olympic lifts, you're going to look more orky anyways, right? So I think it's a way better term. Benching went pretty good today. Benching went pretty good. Like I said, I don't know how many weeks I can keep up this linear progression on the bench. I did it for a long time on the squats, didn't I? Pretty long time, but I'm making much smaller jumps on the bench, and we stuck with just a 315 every day for months, and now that I'm adding the volume and adding the stuff in, it's actually not that hard. Like honestly, today the 332 and a half didn't feel any heavier than 315 was feeling a few months ago. My back off work is feeling harder though. That's what I'm noticing as I accumulate this, the fatigue from it. The back off work starts to get fatiguing at this point more than the actual heavy work, which tells me that's where my real work is. The heavy work is just getting a nice, good, heavy single in, training for a single, and the real fatigue is accumulated with the back off work. That's what's causing the growth. So it's definitely working, and it's making the singles easier. I don't know how many more weeks I can keep this up of just adding every week. I'll do 2.5 again next week. And I'm pretty sure that won't be terrible because I'm still not at a true max yet. Like these are not grindy, they're not that heavy. They're pretty heavy. I'm not gonna lie. This isn't. I don't think I could double this without maybe the second rep being one hell of a grinder. But it's not a true max yet either. So it's not bad. But I don't know that I can keep doing this for a lot longer. We'll watch and see. But I know I can pull at least one more week out. I have no doubt about that, right? And then we'll see what happens to my system when I add the heavier squats back in and undeload the squats. That might stop me from progressing further. We'll see what happens. But I'm not going to placebo myself worrying about it. So that was actually pretty easy, as you guys saw, not a problem. I felt like the third set of back-offs here with the 292 and a half, the first two weren't bad. The third one felt kind of heavy. I haven't looked at the footage yet, so I don't know if it looks heavy or not, but it felt heavy. I'd go so far as to say that my final back-off rep, which would be the 9th rep, because 3 sets of 3, I think actually felt heavier to me than the 332 and a half did on the single. So my training max actually felt lighter to me than my final rep. In other words, I don't know that I had anything left. I don't know on the last set, had I tried a 4th rep, for example, I don't know if I could have got it or not. I probably could have, but I think it would have been a grinder. It would have been a grinder. So again, I'm kind of hitting my threshold for work capacity at this point on the bench. Now that we've been adding 2.5 pounds to the single and the back off work, I feel like I'm approaching my maximum work capacity. Like I don't know that I could do more volume without dramatically reducing the weight that I'm doing now. So these all looked clean. The second set was clean. It wasn't that bad. It was this third set that felt heavy. So I want to watch for it, and I'm actually genuinely curious myself because I haven't seen the bench footage yet until I started recording here with the audio. So I want to see how it looks and see if it looks slow or grindy. It felt slow and grindy. The third rep did. It felt slow. like I felt like it was getting close to an actual max. So we'll see what happens. All right, we come down. First rep, that was fast. That was good. Second rep, that was good. Let's see how the third one looks. I paused. It wasn't as bad as it felt. It felt heavier than it looked. So, interesting. Don't know what to make of that. And I decided to do hook grip deadlifts today. Like I said, we're going a little lighter on these also. Just because I'm deloading the squats, my legs probably need the break. We can just work technique and work on my hook grip. So I ended up, when I got up to the 425, I did 2 singles instead of just 1. Because again, I just need to keep toughening my thumbs up. And again, it's kind of nice not having to worry about strapping up and going real heavy on deadlifts. It's letting me do my hook grip training every day now. So I can probably do this, up to 6 days a week for now, and help get that deadlift kind of going and keep working on that hook grip, get everything sorted there. And I think that's something I've got to do too, is really watch how hard I push the deadlifts while I'm doing this. I've really got to watch how hard I push the deadlifts once I start incorporating the heavy squats back in after the deload. Because I think that's really, really the final nail in the coffin that kind of pushed me to that chronic overreaching state, to where I was hurting and losing strength and everything else. So again, we've just got to regulate it better. And it comes to a point of outworking your recovery. Oops, see, the bar rolled into that little groove in my mat. I had to readjust. And yeah, I mean, this is obviously not heavy for me. It's 425. So you guys have seen me do 150 pounds more than this a month ago on camera. So yeah, it's just training it, working that hook grip, training the technique. So it's all good. It's all good. And this next one actually could be pretty clean too. I went ahead and held it for a second or so just to work that hook grip. Because the main thing is getting it to hold at the top and minimizing bar roll. Because I think for me, bar roll at the top is really a problem with the hook grip. So I'm trying to work on getting a cleaner pull. See, we had a little bit of roll, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And that's going to happen when you have good bearings on a bar, when you have a decent bar, unfortunately. Sometimes a cheaper bar is actually easier to grip, as funny as that sounds. That's just the reality of it, because good bars roll. And they need to, for reasons it's more than I can cover here. Then I did my set of pull-ups from a dead hang. What I want to say about these, I feel like I'm getting a novel training response with these, because I never do pull-ups, pronated grip pull-ups. I've done weighted chin-ups for you guys. But these dead hang pull-ups, I feel like I'm getting a novel training response. This is an exercise I've never really done this way. I've always done them supinated, but you guys know with my old bicep injury, that was becoming a problem. And what's interesting for me is, just like with rows, I feel barbell rows in my biceps more than I do my back. And that has never stopped me from growing a massive back doing barbell rows, but that's where I feel it. Like, I'm feeling soreness and a pump in certain places on this exercise. It's not normal for me, even on doing chin-ups historically. Like, I'm feeling like a deep burn in my biceps, but not in the connective tissue. I'm not feeling that connective tissue inflammation, but I'm feeling a massive amount of work in my biceps. And then after my set, my upper chest gets really sore. And it's probably, again, due to pulling from that dead hang. I think that's the critical component there. And I don't want people to misinterpret it as me saying that where you feel something or where you get sore is always indicative of superior stimulation, because that's not true. That's not always true, right? So keep that in mind. I'm just noting it and suspecting it could be some additional stimulation, working some stuff in a novel way I'm not used to. I will probably grow from that a little bit, particularly as I do these more and more and more. But yeah, I feel like it's just a really good addition right now as a supplemental lift for me to do. Well, it's not supplemental, this would be an accessory movement to really balance out the muscles that aren't being worked completely for my big three. And I'd go so far as to say, if you look at these 4 lifts I did today, if you did enough volume on these 4 lifts, and obviously I do a little bit of other stuff, but if you did enough volume on these 4 lifts, you would get big. Every muscle in your body is being worked fairly effectively. We could argue some aren't getting maximum stimulation. That would be a fair argument. All right, that would be a fair argument. But to say that they're not all getting growth stimulation, every single muscle in your entire body is getting some growth stimulation from these 4 lifts if you do them heavy enough with enough volume. So, keep that in mind. This by itself could be a straight up orc mode workout to make you look orky if you just got really strong at all 4 of these lifts that I did today. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.